What's up, ladies and gentlemen? And just like that, we're gonna start it off. We're gonna start it off just like that. We've been talking about it all week. It's been a decision to be made all week. And I guess he heard me and other people. And he made the decision, ladies and gentlemen, and the decision is final. 2 years, 8 million. LeBron James is a Philadelphia 76er. No, you are not dreaming. No, we are not in the Twilight Zone. No, this is a 2K video game. No, we are in the LeBron James era. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta understand that he's a 40 something year old. But again, like I told people, these people always say something about age when it comes to these sports. These athletes are built different, and we already know how LeBron James does in the off season and how he takes care of himself in the off season. So that's not going to be a problem. What we have gotten here from a basketball sense, ladies and gentlemen, we must look at and say, wow, how did Bob Myers, how did Mike Gansey, how did the Sixers do it? It is unbelievable to fit on the court. He's the perfect player. He's a power forward. He can shoot. He can pass. He's basically what we wanted in Ben Simmons when we had him D here. Now just think about that for a second. And I'm not saying Ben Simmons is any type of LeBron player, but just think about what we thought Ben was when we had Ben and MD. Oh my God, this is a dream come true. And again, there are some people on the negative side. And again, like, share, subscribe on the YouTube, and also we're on Twitch too, ladies and gentlemen. So you can go to Twitch and find me on there. Of course, we Facebook Live and right now. So if you don't catch the show, you can always go back to my page and catch the show. But again, this is a big signing. LeBron James, man, coming here, it's like the perfect fit. The perfect fit. And it elevates your bench as well. Because now Dean Wade goes to the bench. He's your power forward off the bench, and he's going to get a chance to play with Filine, LeBaron Filine. You know what I'm saying? And then you get Anthony Simons off the bench. Then he makes guys like Justin Edwards better because now they're playing with LeBron James. Can you imagine what type of boost it's going to give this team? That's the thing. It's going to give a psychological boost to these young players who basically watch LeBron play all their life, and to get to learn from him. Oh man, this could winter sports in Philadelphia. I'm telling you, is going to be some of the most exciting times for those people like me who follow sports, who love sports, and which your hobby, is your passion. It gives you energy, like gives you spark. Like this is going to be phenomenal. I can't speak about it enough. LeBron James in the Sixers uniform. Then you got Jalen Hurts, the Eagles' new offense. The football season is right around the corner. Few days, few weeks. Well, actually, I believe a week away. Matter of fact, a few days away. A few days away. Training camp opens. Oh my God, things are looking up. Phillies baseball coming down to the wire. We're on the hunt for the Braves, trying to chase the Braves, trying to make the playoffs as well. So we're going to have October baseball. Flyers are making moves. They signed some of their own people back. So oh God, winter sports is going to be amazing. But again, if you're against for the LeBron situation, give your thoughts and your comments in the comment section. Again, like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Today's a big day, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, today we have another interview slated. We're going to interview a local boxer who's from Philadelphia, and his boxing protege, and it's going to be a great interview, ladies and gentlemen. Plan to ask some great questions. Um, Man, I told y'all we're doing it big, man. Sports is our thing. Sports is our thing, and we're not, again, we focus on the locals. You know what I'm saying? The most known unknowns. This is what we're doing. We are the people's podcast. That's what I like to say. You know what I'm saying? We interviewing the regular folk that's doing something out here, sports based. Trying to get their name off the ground, and hopefully we'll be like I said, a launching pad to bigger things to come for those that choose to interview with us and give us their time of day. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to grow as they're trying to grow. But again, ladies and gentlemen, the interview's coming up at 2. Going to be a great interview. Again, boxing trainer, local boxing trainer Anthony Key. He's going to be on here. We're going to ask him some questions, give us some insight into how it is to be a trainer, a boxing trainer. We're going to ask this boxer some questions. Put his name out there. Uh, 40 Cal is his name, his boxing name. Up and coming young fighter, trying to do big things, man. And again, I got mad respect for boxers. It takes a lot of heart and a lot of desire and a lot of discipline to be a boxer. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be disciplined as hell, because you're not just gonna get in that ring and get out of shape. Because you can't play boxing, ladies and gentlemen. We play everything else: baseball, football, hockey, soccer, but you can't play boxing. And it's one of the most toughest sports to be in. It's a thinking man sport. And again, like I said, we're gonna ask a lot of questions today, and hopefully educate some of the people. Some of our novice boxing fans, or even some folks that you know they've been looking at the sport and haven't gotten into it yet, but need a little jump start to get into it. But again, like I said, 2 o'clock is coming up, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna get that interview going, and we're gonna ask some great questions. Again, uh, Anthony Key, boxing trainer, local boxing trainer, and his fighter, Calvary Harris, aka 40 Cal. Yep, coming up. But again, this LeBron thing, ladies and gentlemen, man, it's fascinating how Philadelphia basketball has gone in a span of a couple months, man, from the Drex and looking like it's going to be hell on earth watching this team this season and hoping and praying that MD is going to be healthy to, wow, we just hoping for 50% MD, and it sky's the limit. I mean, if you can get a 50% healthy MD with this team we have, even with LeBron James at his age, because I know that's going to be a big factor and it's going to come up. And it's mighty ironic, because if he went to Golden State or any other team, these questions about his age and the fit and all this other nonsense from the national media would never come up. But we all know they hate Philadelphia, especially the sports, and they don't hate them because of the team. They hate them because of the fans, the passion that we exude for our teams. But again, with age notwithstanding, LeBron James is the perfect piece for this team and the way it's built. I mean, we got the wing players now, we got the bench. Oh man, we coming, and we coming, and we coming, and we coming for 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 it all this year, man. I dare I say, here on this show right now, with this LeBron signing, and I don't want to sound like I'm going crazy, because again, like I said, I didn't want the media circus. I've said on this show time and time again, didn't want the media circus, but I never said from a basketball standpoint I didn't want him. I'm not dumb and I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb and I'm not stupid. With me saying not the media circus, oh well. If this is what it is what it is. But on the court, I know the product is going to be phenomenal. And we're going to see winning basketball and we're going to see productive basketball. So I'm all the other intangibles that comes with it, so be it. So be it. And again, like I said, people act like Philadelphia is such a dreadful place to live, like in the surrounding areas, which is crazy to me. Like, oh, I hear some people saying, "Oh, where is he gonna live? Like, why is he coming to Philly? Where are you gonna live? It's a northeastern state." Like, I don't understand these people. I don't. I don't. When you have athletes that come here and they don't leave, even those that live in other cities, they always find their way back to Philadelphia, whether the media knows they're here or not. Trust me, they're here. They are here. Once you make a connection in this city, it's like no other. And I don't care what nobody says. And I got partners that live in other places and they've come here during their military time. And some of them still can't wait to get back here to fellowship and partake in some of this debauchery, as I say. But again, it's a great fit. It's a great day for Sixers fans, man. We are on our way. I'm telling you right now, people. This thing right here, this is one of the biggest signings and since uh, dare I say Moses Malone, and that's the bottom line. That is the bottom line. This is one of the biggest signings since Moses Malone. You get the pair a LeBron James with the Tyrese Maxey, a young VJ Edgecombe, who's basically coming off a phenomenal rookie season. Then you got a savvy vet and a dog in Jalen Brown. And let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, when Embiid is on his game and he's healthy, it's like no other. It's like no other. So let's get ready, man. You heard me playing the song earlier. You heard me playing the song earlier, and we opened up with the picture with him in Jersey. It's not a fantasy again, like I said. It's not a 2K uh, video game that we do when we trade for players that our favorite players and put them on our favorite teams. This is reality. And for those that are, on the tip, like, well, we've been through these things before. We not only got one stud, we got another. We got two studs. So even if we have a situation where knock on wood or tap on the tap on the camera where we have an Andrew Bynum situation, we still got a way out. That's the thing. It's a 2 year deal, which is a 2 year window to win a title with him and Embiid. And then the team will be turned over to Maxi. So if you get two titles or one title within that window, you still have opportunities to build down the road. Wow. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited I can't hide it. Call me the Pointer Sisters. I'm so excited and I just can't hide it. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, again, in 10 minutes, we're going to have that interview coming up. Oh, man, great interview. First time interviewing a professional boxer and a professional boxing Trainer should be fun. We'll ask a lot of questions, good questions, questions that most people probably have to those that like me. You follow the sport, but you never know what you're gonna get. And there he is, and there he is.
What's
Appreciate
up?
appreciate this. What's up with the what's up, man? Appreciate you. Uh,
Yeah, definitely, man.
like to
I'm waiting.
introduce.
What? Yeah, waiting on my fighter to come on.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Just gonna get right into it, man. And while I got you right here, again, I appreciate you for joining the show. I'm gonna let the world know, man. This is a local boxing trainer, man, and otherwise great man in my eyes, Anthony Key. Um, been doing this thing for a minute now, and we're happy to have you on the show. Uh,
Happy to be on.
I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna get right into these questions, man. What piqued your interest in boxing? Going back to from before your training days. What got you into the sport?
What got me into the sport was I was really into football when I first began. Young. I always wanted to be a Tony Dorsett. So, that was my man back in the day. I looked up to, but I was always small. So,
Sorry, little technical difficulties there, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be right back on in 1 second. There you go.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I was always small, so I would get picked on a lot. So I would have to fight all the time, and then the high school I went to, Dobbins, down in North Philly. That was a hot spot. So one day, a friend of mine named Rocket Rodney Moore, he's a former ex fighter, and he used to go to the gym, and then I would just go there just to stay in shape. But then once I found out that I had a sport where one on one, I was good. I said, wait a minute, I got something here. So that's how I really got into it. So it was the streets that got me into boxing. You what you call the bullying today. That's what got me into the game, and that was in 1978. First
Wow.
time I stepped into a boxing gym, 1978.
Cool, man. And see, and that's good to know, man, because that kind of puts me right back into the to my next question. Um, Being as though you gained all that wisdom, man, from 78 up until now. Um, Kind of like I wanted to know what made you transition over to the training side? What made you want to give some of that wisdom back to some of these young fighters and become a trainer?
Well, being that I was in the sport, I had a couple amateur fights, when I was in Philly, and I joined the military, and my first duty station was overseas. So I joined the boxing team when I was over there in Germany. And back in them days, this is early '80s.
Hmm. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna finish the question. He'll be right back up in a second. But yeah, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we doing it big. We interviewing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm back. Yeah. Did you
So
get that? Yeah, I got lost for a minute. Sorry about that.
off where you left off.
Yeah. So I left off with, fighting overseas. I got a good chance, to compete international. But what I didn't realize, what I was learning, because they had a pro style over there. So I had maybe about 40 fights international. So when I came back to the United States, I was seeing boxing differently. You know what I mean? Because they were more into fundamentals over there. Everything was about fundamentals. So when I got here, everything was flashy. We had like cuties and guys that want to be like Mayweather. So uh, I didn't continue to compete anymore because I got older. Then my duties got bigger. So I decided to join the army team as a fitness instructor. So once I did that, that's how I got into conditioning as a conditioning coach. And then from there, I just figured, hey, you know what? I just gonna become a trainer. You know what I mean? I didn't have any aspirations of going pro because I knew I wasn't gonna commit myself like that. And you know yourself, being from Philly, I would talk to a lot of ex fighters, man, and it sounded like they had marbles in their mouth. And I was like, no, I don't think I want to do that. So I just never turned it over. So I figured I'd be a better trainer than I would be a fighter. And that's how I got into training. Once I got out the military, I pursued it ever since.
Cool, cool. So what was that? What was that experience like, man, being in the corner for the first time, actually training your fighter in a actual boxing match?
I mean, for me, it was exciting because I was always passionate about it, and it was something that I wanted to do. And I was never the nervous type in the corner, so I embraced that. Only thing I didn't like, I don't like a lot of attention. I'm not the attention seeker. For me, it's all about the fighter. I think a trainer is only as good as his fighter. Some trainers think it's about them, but they got to remember they're not the one getting punched in the face. So that's how that's my take on a good one of the qualities of a good trainer. He has to really pour into his fighter. It's about the fighter.
Absolutely. Now, what what goes into is it more important for a trainer to have a great relationship with a boxer in and out of the ring?
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. You have to have that relationship. It's almost like a marriage because whatever is affecting that fighter, is it's going to bring it. He's going to bring it into the gym. Then it's going to affect your ability to train him because if he's not there mentally and physically, then it's going to show up in the training, and if it shows up in the training, it's going to transition into the ring. And that's a reflection of the team. It's like
Absolutely.
when we were in the military, everything was a reflection of the team. It wasn't just Johnson or Key. It was the whole squad that went down. So that's the attitude I take. I get to know the fighter outside of the ring. It's a relationship, like a marriage almost. And that's why I don't take on a lot of fighters. I see these trainers today, they got 6, 7, 8 fighters. And I'm gonna tell you about that. Out of those 8 fighters, someone's gonna suffer because they're not gonna get the individual attention that's needed for a fighter. And I just don't see myself doing that. You know what I mean?
Now I have a question for you. What's tougher to train? What type of fighter is tougher to train? A southpaw or a traditional fighter?
You usually
And again, ladies and gentlemen, excuse the technical difficulties, but he will be back. And I'm hoping you guys are enjoying the interview,
yeah,
man.
definitely.
They,
Sorry about that.
no, no problem, no problem.
Yeah,
We
and
wrong, we real, baby. This how I come to
yeah,
them. Ain't
okay.
about tune in. You gonna get your knowledge. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you
Yeah,
finish.
yeah, but
Go.
I think most people would say southpaws because the lead hand is different, and if you used to working so much with this regular orthodox, it sometimes takes time to get used to. But I don't have no problem with either, because fundamentals is fundamentals, and like pad work. A lot of people are into the pad work. You see the guys doing that, that I call it the matrix, where they just like Mayweather does.
Okay.
And I'm not into that. I'm into the fundamentals, of the pad work. There's pad drills. Now you can do it as a drill if you're trying to do some cardio, but you know, that stuff. Come on, that's the stuff for the trainer to look good, and let me see the fighter do that in the ring.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, you tell the people how long you've been actually at this.
Uh, eh, Shoot, that's from '78 to now. What's that, like 48 years almost?
48 years of boxing experience, man.
Yeah.
Now, I had to ask that first because I wonder you saw a lot of boxing throughout those years and have
Oh
been
yeah.
around the
Mhm.
sport. What how do you feel about the state of boxing in this day and age? Do you feel like um it was better because we get this question all the time on the streets and everywhere in barbershops all around. The
Right.
boxing of yesteryear where fighters took on the challenge of any and every any and all comers. How do you feel about the state of boxing in this day and age where it's more about legacy and belts? That's just my
Yeah. Uh, I think the boxing from my time and the time before that, was better fighters, more disciplined, more committed, to the game itself. Where the fighters today, they just worry about being undefeated, touching M's, ghetto stars. They worry about that, but they don't want to put in the commitment, the training, and the caliber of fighters that are out today is different back in the day. Because back in the day, the number 30 guy, what I mean, was tougher than the number one guy at times. So it's different now. These fighters aren't committed. You can't keep them in the gym. Some of them are so hard headed. So yeah, they can't compare to back in the day. It's no comparison.
now. I gotta ask you this, man, because your military background. Did you give your fighter his name, 40 Cal, bruh?
Yeah, that's funny. No, it's actually his mom nicknamed him that 40 cal.
Okay.
Yep, his mother. Yeah,
Well, well, if you don't mind giving us a breakdown of before, while we wait for him to come in, um, what's his record, and does he have any upcoming fights, or do you guys have anything in the works?
yeah. He's 2-0 with two knockouts. Uh, and he's scheduled to fight in Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland, at the PepsiCo Center, uh, September 26th. This September. So he's a real prospect, but he just didn't have that that big amateur background, and I don't always agree with that because if you can fight, you can fight. So a lot
Okay.
of times these amateur fighters, they expect more because they figure out that, oh man, I was a national champ. I had over 200 fights, but my fighter, his real name is Calvary Harris, and I've taken him to now. He only When let me go back to the amateur stuff. He only had maybe if top 20 amateur fights in his career, and he's 24 years old. But I've taken him to camp down Shakur Stevenson camp with Raymond Ford was getting ready for a Shaq fight. I've taken him down to Bosie's gym where Andy Cruz was getting ready for his previous fight. He
Nice.
also sparred with Haven Brady, who was a decorated amateur and a top pro, signed the Matchroom, and he held his own. I'll just put it that way. He held his own. You know, he ain't get wiped out or take him out. You know, because when you go down to that gym, Bosie's gym, you know, Bosie don't play that. You know,
Oh, it's the doghouse.
yeah,
It's the
you
doghouse.
gotta have that dog. Yeah, you gotta have the dog in you. You
Yep.
know, and if he don't like you, you don't have that dog in you. You know, don't bring him back. That's the attitude. You know, and I respect that in this sport. You know what I mean? Because this is the hurt business. You know,
Absolutely.
you gotta have that dog, and you gotta have that something. Because if you don't have it as a fighter, and especially mentally, your mental got to be together. You know, your family life. A lot of pitfalls for these fighters is they get into these relationships too early.
Right.
Sometimes they have kids, and I'm not saying all of them, but I say majority of them, and they try to now they have to go get a job to where they gotta work. They come to the gym, they tired. You gotta have a supportive woman in your corner when you do this sport. You
Absolutely.
know, because you're gonna spend a lot of time away, not just physical time, but mental time away. You know, from the family. You
Mm.
know, so a lot of these fighters don't really realize that, and they think they could juggle boxing. You know, this is a sport you just can't juggle like that. So you got to have that something that's going to separate you from them guys. You know, and I believe that comes in the training. You know, that's why with my fighter, you know, it's all about fundamentals. And then,
Now.
you know, I study.
Hmm.
Even all these years, I study. I watch other old school fights. You know, I look at certain things the fighter does as a habit that's good. You know, it's just so many things outside the gym that I do. See, people think, you know, you show up to the gym, the trainer, and then when it's time to go home, you go home. You know what I mean? Yeah, I go home, but then I go right into another lab. I start studying, you know, footwork, you know what I mean? Position of the backhand that's near your chin. I call it the passive hand, you know, just different things, you know, to teach the fighter. So that's why it says to take a relationship, that one on one, because that takes a lot to do that, you know.
Now, do you mind telling the people what gym you guys box out of?
We actually we're in located in York, Pennsylvania, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So we actually don't go to a specific boxing gym. We use two fitness centers, one called Crunch Fitness, and then they have one in Lancaster called Universal, where we
Okay.
have the bags. We have all, you know, we have all the bags that we need, and that's all you need for me with one fighter is just the bags. As far as the ring go, you know, that's for sparring, you
Okay.
know, and or just making the gym look good. I seen gyms with two, three, four rings, and I mean, it looked like Hollywood, you
It,
know.
it
But
ain't
the
about how you.
quality, yeah, the quality of the fighter, you know,
Right.
I could train you on a rooftop. You know, it's the knowledge that you're teaching, not the equipment.
Absolutely.
See, they get it twisted. It's the knowledge that you're teaching, not the equipment, not the quality of equipment. See, and a lot of them get caught up in that. Oh, they ask me, oh, why don't you get your own gym? For what? I'm not training multiple fighters. I got one fighter. What do we need a big gym for? When we
Right.
ready to spar, you know what I mean? We come to the city of brotherly love to get that real work.
There you go. Now, with that being said, I gotta ask you, being as though your fighter is very early in his career, what do you tell him as well as other young fighters or young trainers to give their fighter knowledge about the successes and how to handle it when you do achieve that big success or you do uh, get that spotlight.
You know, I would tell the fighter, you know, you gotta love the sport first. You have to love it. It has to be something you love to do. You know, it's like my old trainer told me. He said, you gotta love the sport. He says, the day you like it, get out. And I could never understand that until, you know, I started training fighters. And you go through so much with fighters, because in this sport, this is a jealous sport.
Mm.
And you get other trainers don't like this trainer, that fighter don't like this fighter. But those are the things that, I try to teach that you can't take personal. If I don't particularly care for this trainer or that gym, but if they got the good work for my fighter, I gotta humble myself for the fighter. See, you got a lot of trainers out here where just keep that hate juice and they won't humble themselves, but they're hurting the fighter. So the
Hmm.
fighter got to be able to observe and see things are going on. So when he's picking a good trainer, what qualities is he's looking for? You
Yeah.
know, so those are the things I think, for me, as far as, teaching to my fighter, and maintaining a mental game too,
Okay.
meaning like his lifestyle. His lifestyle is very important. So, with his girlfriend, his wife, or whatever the case may be, that's very important.
Right.
Because if you're messed up mentally, you're not gonna make it in this game.
Got
Distractions are going to get you. Back in the day, it was drugs and the women.
right.
Now it's all kinds of stuff that's getting these fighters today. This late, pure lazy.
Right.
They get arrogant. They think they get to a certain point they fight. Then they stay out the gym and they come back and have these fat camps and all that. It's no real discipline. And I fought both the trainer and the fighter. But the trainer the fighter gotta know when he's picking a trainer. He gotta know what he's looking for. Because remember, he's putting his life in this guy's hand.
Right.
Don't go by what you heard. This guy's the great trainer or whatever. No, check him out. What I
Right.
mean, test his knowledge, his from fundamentals. Every trainer should know fundamentals. They
Now,
should teach fundamentals.
you sound like I said, you all that wealth of knowledge and man and that wealth of experience. Um, you go way back, man, and you had some guys come that you've come across throughout the game. One of them was the great mighty Ivan Robinson.
Right.
Would you mind? I mean, without getting a little too personal, do you mind tell us how that relationship impacted you, as far as your knowledge and experiences in boxing as well?
Sure. Coming out of Philadelphia, we know who's who. Mighty Robinson was a big name in the Philadelphia boxing community. So I got a chance to run into Ivan Robinson at a mutual gym, and of course, I went over to him because I recognized him, and then you know he was such a nice guy. That's what stood out about him. He was genuine, you know. And I had a fighter at the time, and then I asked him. I said, "Hey, man, can you maybe help me out with my fighter?" And he said, "No problem, anytime." And that's how that relationship started, and that's been a thing I've been dealing with Mighty for maybe good 30 years now. Yeah.
Ooh,
So it's a good good relationship, mutual respect.
absolutely.
Oh,
Now, I got another question for you because this is big, man. Like, I know we got the youth in the neighborhoods, and I remember when I was growing up, they used to have the boxing matches in Duckery Playground.
hmm
Before they started introducing the basketball games, and unfortunately it stopped because it's a violent situation. Do you think that we could probably not so much outside? Do you think that could probably come back, like where we could have like boxing programs, not so much the underground, but where it could be like mainstream for the youth, like they have these football programs and basketball AAUs and baseball? Like, you think that could come back to the community, especially in Philadelphia?
that one I'm not too sure because of the lifestyles today of this generation, what they call Gen Z.
Hmm.
What's different when we were coming up, you and I, we had the Power League, the Police Athletic League. So everybody that basically boxed out of a rec center. You know, you had Champs Gym. Uh, man, I'm going back now.
Yes,
Uh,
take us back.
yeah, you got ABC, you got
Oh,
ABC Gym. That was part of POW. You know, you had the Martin Luther King Rec Center. That was part of
Mhm.
POW. You know, Lonnie Young Rec Center in East Germantown. That was part of POW. You know, you had back in the day it was called Rizzo POW. I don't know
Okay.
what they call it now. That was in like Frankfurt. So you had a lot of POW gyms, you know, that was run by the city.
Okay.
You know, so when we went, we didn't have to pay a fee, a monthly fee, or anything like that. You know, you had men who volunteered. Either they were ex fighters or guys who were just passionate about boxing. They volunteered their time. It's different today because these the Gen Z, you know, what goes on the street with the young boys. So these young boys are coming in more for survival. Like,
Okay.
man, I'm gonna be a boxer and I'm gonna touch M's and I'm gonna take care of my family. Whereas we did it, we were just athletes. You
Right.
know, we most of us played youth football. Like I played West Oak Lane Wildcats. You know, you had the
Black
North
Hawk. Philly
Black
Black.
hat. Yeah, the Black Hawks. North Philly had the Black Hawks. You know, so we were just athletic guys. You know,
Absolutely.
it wasn't about oh, I'm gonna touch M's or you know. Now once those guys went pro, then their mentality changed. You know, but it was still a lot of guys that turned pro. I don't think they had it in the beginning, like, okay, I'm gonna make millions. They just love to fight. You know, Philly's a fight town. Some guys just love to fight. It was a passion. You could see the difference in the fighters fighting back then and fighting now. They fighting for the money now. Back then they fought for legacy. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Yeah, they fought like men. It was about a man. You know, there's another man on the other side. He's either gonna whoop my ass, I'm gonna whoop his ass.
Right.
You know, and they ain't look at the paycheck. I mean, that came later. Now these fighters today, they're looking at the paycheck, then fight.
Now
That's
this
the
might
mentality.
sound like a crazy question, but it's a lot of people that boxing in today's boxing. We got a lot of people that just that are just starting to watch the sport. Um, what would you say the toughest thing in a match when your boxer faces adversity? What would you say the toughest thing for you to do to get them, to get them kind of straight? What would you say? How would you react to that certain situation?
Well, if he gets say he gets in trouble, uh, or he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, once he gets to the corner, you know, I would ask him what's going on out there. See, because there's two set of eyes, it's his and mine. I don't see everything, and he don't see everything. So I would ask him what's going on, and if let's say he's getting hit too much with the right hands, you know, we'll just go back to what we did in the gym. I always refer it back to the gym, like, look, we worked on this. You know what I mean? Let's get back to the passive hand. You know, your position is changing, whatever. See, he'll understand the language because we transitioned from the gym into the ring. So it's the same with training. You know, when we transition from the gym to the ring, be it sparring, be it whatever, you know, you got to look at and see what you can work on so you can transition that back to the floor. So it's a back and forth thing.
Absolutely.
So with the fighter, you have to stay calm. He has to see that you're calm, and you got to know your fighter. So you got to be able to make those adjustments in the corner. But those adjustments are going to come from the training. There's no on the spot correction in boxing. Only on the spot correction boxing if you getting your ass beat and I got this fuck you punch.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wind it up like a toy and then I hit you with it. You know what I mean? That's the only thing you could do on the spot. Everything else, you know, hey, it's too late. A lot of times it's too late. If you're correcting your fighter during a fight or he's lacking something, you didn't do your job. Because he's not just going to do it on the spot. There's no such thing as on the spot correction. Unless it's something minor that you know, why you keep dropping your hand? You know better than that. We work on that, you know what I mean? And he gets back to it for whatever reason. You know, because you can have mental lapses in boxing, but there is
Absolutely.
no on the spot correction. You hear trainers in the corner, throw the right hand, left hook, right hand. You know, like he's just gonna say, turn around, look at you, and say, okay, and do it. When you got another guy throwing punches at him, it's not gonna happen that way. You know, so only thing I say is you can do that's on the spot is I call it the fuck you punch. You got to
Absolutely.
knock this guy out, so you better wind it up like a toy and hit him. That's the only spot correction I expect.
Now, with 40 Cal. I like that name, man. That's why I keep saying it.
Yeah.
Listen, man, excuse my French, but we raw real shit. That shit takes me back to back when we was on the range, bruh. And you pull out them little knives. No,
Yeah.
we
Oh
go
yeah.
40 cal for that ass.
You
Use
pop
that too, Big Sarge. You can use that.
it.
Pull
Yeah.
40 cal on his ass, baby. No,
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
what I wanted to say is, it's been a pleasure, man. I appreciate this interview, man. I appreciate this interview. And I wanted to ask you, because we didn't get this out there, what weight class does your fighter fight in? And you already gave his record and the place where he's fighting again. If you don't mind, I would like you to give that out again, man, because we need to support our local fighters, man, especially
Yes,
guys
we
like
do.
that.
Yes,
So
we do.
if you
Yeah.
could, man, let us know the weight class again. I mean, what a weight class, and let us know where he's fighting at again. And ladies and gentlemen, support, 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 man. I'm gonna try to get out there myself
Appreciate it. Yeah,
real.
yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Uh 40 Calvary Harris, he fights in a 130 weight class. So he fights September 26th down at the PepsiCo Center in Baltimore, Maryland. It's called Ponytail Promotions. So he will be fighting on on that card. Another thing that we're doing, we're trying to team up with Bozy Ennis, Boots' dad. Because me and him been friends, and I've trained under him. Man, when the dungeon was this church down, I think it was Armat Street. It was an abandoned church, man, and he used to leak. And he had a ring in the basement of that church, man. And it was hardcore, but all hardcore fighters would come in there, man. And so that's my man. Bozy's my man, and I've learned a lot from him.
Bozy
I
Ennis.
picked up a lot. I used to always be in the gym, but real quiet. I was that quiet trainer. I wasn't that mouthy one or said I knew it all. I would watch what he do. I would take things from him. I would listen to his philosophy, and I learned a lot. And I had fighters myself coming down there, but I would just let them cut loose, and then that was my school time. So I really shout out to Bozy and it,
Absolutely. Shout out to Bozy.
Dungeon. Yep.
And big boots, baby. Keep
Yeah,
knocking them
yeah, yeah.
out.
Yeah. Boots is phenomenal, man.
Oh, man.
Watching him as a kid and to evolve into the fighter that he is, it's amazing. And Boots is a really a quiet guy like myself. Like we might have had a few conversations because I was the respectful type. I didn't want to like, hey, what's up, Boots, and so I'll shake his hand, whatever. But it's amazing to see him you know, at the level that he's at. But he reminds me of the Sugar Ray Leonard era. That guy that had that special. They come along every once in a so often. The Sugar Ray Robinsons, what I mean, the Sugar Ray Leonards, the Mike Tysons. That had that something that separated them from everybody. And
Absolutely.
uh,
And it's called,
Boots is like that.
you know what it's called, Big Sarge? The
Yeah,
dog. The
yeah,
dog.
he got that dog. And I
Okay.
would say that puppies stay on the porch.
Hey, man, the dog's
Yeah,
going to come off and eat.
yeah, yeah,
Yup.
yeah.
You know what they
So
say, Big Sarge. But, man, shout outs to Bozzy Ennis, man. Boots
yeah.
Ennis. We going to see a lot of big things. We already seeing big
Oh,
things out of Boots. You already know what he's
oh
doing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's
And it's
champion.
nothing but champions in that gym. So when you go down to Bosey's gym to get work, I mean you getting work from world champions, man.
Wow.
Andy Cruz. You got Haven Brady down there. You got the heavyweight baby Miller. He's down there.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, it's probably many more. I just don't be down there on a consistent basis. But when you go down there, you're going to get some good work. But let me tell you, whoever's listening in the fight world, you taking your fighter down there, what I mean, he better have that dog in him, or he better be able to do 8 rounds, 4-minute rounds. Coming in there talking about, oh, I only can give 3 or whatever. Don't go to Bozy if you're not in fight shape. You know what I mean? Because those guys are in there to put in the work. Yeah, guys ain't gonna probably cut on you, but at the same time, you gotta understand. Everybody's in there. is trying to eat. So
Absolutely.
just like when you go to work, I don't tell you, you know what, I need you to work. Back off. Don't work so hard. You know,
No, you want
no,
that. You want that
you
full
want to
meal.
eat. You want to
Yes,
eat. So then
sir.
you got to understand that. So that's what a dog that got to come in you. You got to have that in you. Now, I'm not saying you go in there like back in the day and have the ring wars. You know what I
Right.
mean? But if
But
another man, I've been taught for man, if somebody hits you, you hit them back. That's all it is.
it's
You know.
simple as that. And with
Yeah.
that being said, Big Sarge, I appreciate your time. We'll get
Appreciate you.
we'll get Cavalry
Yeah.
Harris on
Yeah. We
next
get
time.
them on the next one. Yeah.
It's all good, man. And we wish him the best. We can't wait to talk to him again. He's 2-0. You already heard the information about the fight coming up,
Yeah,
baby.
he's going to be something to reckon with, man. I'm telling you, man. This one, yeah. I work with many fighters, you know, especially in you know Philly in this area. But you know, uh, I've been be honest, I've been unappreciated, but I'm okay with that because you know when once you get that one, that's when you have the ability to say, okay, let me show you through this one. You know what I mean? The combination of being a good teacher and
Absolutely.
a combination of having a good fighter. Sorry about that. Yeah. And that's gonna show right there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I don't get into all that because that happens in this game. There's a it's different nowadays. The trainers back then, you know, we all got along to a certain degree because it was about our fighter.
Right.
Nowadays, it's about the trainer. You know, this trainer don't like that trainer, so I'm not going to take my fighter over to his gym, and vice versa. And you're only hurting the fighter because remember,
And
in the
nobody
end, they're the ones getting punched in the face.
and nobody gets better. But like I
Yep,
said, man, with that being said, we gonna be the fuse that spark the flame, baby. I'm
that's
telling you,
right.
you're gonna get your
That's
props.
right.
You're gonna get your
Yeah,
props,
for
and you're
sure.
gonna
For
knock
sure.
them down
Yeah.
one
And
fight at a time. We appreciate your time,
no
Big Sarge.
problem.
Appreciate
Anytime.
you so much. Good luck to Calvary Harris,
Oh
40
yeah.
count. Look out for that name.
That's
Appreciate
right.
you. Y'all know
Appreciate
my
you too.
love on
Pleasure.
somebody that loves on you. Holla at your boy. Peace.
Peace. Peace.